Is that a special robe you've got on, or you done something to it?
I put it on about an hour and a half ago, so I just have the sleeves tied up because I was like running around doing things.
I get that. No, I've seen people have that before. And I like it. I haven't. I had my COVID booster on Friday, and I'm just too pooped to put robes on. So, is it
You said you were
Ivy
going
on?
back to bed.
Yeah, I was kidding. I'm not going back to bed.
I was wondering about it, but I didn't want to say anything because I thought, well, maybe he's very tired.
Is it me, or is this? This looks like the best picture I've ever had for this.
Yeah, it's a Christmas miracle.
It is sparkly tree, and you know who's coming to check if you've been bad or good. Don't tell my Buddha.
I'm not happy with old men coming into my home.
No,
I know.
it's a bit creepy.
Yeah, no.
I know.
Well, at least we don't live in Krampus cultures. So
I
could
like
be worse.
Krampus better.
You think that's more honest?
It's more fun. That was such a wrong thing to say. Oh.
I like your red candle, Beyond. It's a nice candle.
It's actually a honey scented candle. So it smells like a jar of honey. It looks like it's honey colored. It's not actually red.
Okay. It's good though, because if you had a white one, you wouldn't. If you had a white one, it would look like magic. So it would just blend into the wall, and you'd just get the little flame.
You think that's magic? Have you seen my black one? You've never seen my black one.
No,
Oh boy.
the magic.
I never get white ones though. I always get red or this one.
There you go. I've got my standard white one. We went to a big supermarket on Friday after my booster, and we emerged. It's like the hugest supermarket with all the Christmas stuff. We came out with a bottle of gin for my daughter and a shrine candle for me. I just was overwhelmed by the amount of stuff. Oh yeah, £1 for a shrine candle, absolute bargain. It was the last one as well. Otherwise, I'd have got more.
£1.
Yeah.
I get 3 of those for €1.
Yeah, but this burns for like ever.
That is true. I have some of those, but mine are like this big
Yeah, exactly.
and this thick, and I've got like I don't know like 10 or 12 of them, but I will not.
They say it's all about the girth.
I will not burn any of those
Okay.
because
Although you find it gets to a certain stage, and because it's only going down, you end up with kind of like a hollow tree with all the wax, and it will no longer burn because the wick's gone so far down, but it hasn't managed to. It's kind of like
there's like there's a way of lighting them in that you know that afterwards the burn goes like regular, but I don't know how to do it.
I don't know.
So I remember a couple of years ago we had a blackout here for like an entire afternoon. Like the power went out and it never came back, and it was like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night. And I had to use candles. And if there's anything in this house, there's candles everywhere. And it turns out they were useless.
But it is a good thing about being a Buddhist. If there is a power cut, we've generally got lots of candles.
But they're useless because after like 20 minutes, the flame is. Can you hear me? After 20 minutes, the flame is like this big. So
Okay.
there's nothing. It's like sunk into the wall of wax, and it's like, well, you're useless.
That is true. At least you can see to wonder about. We had, I don't know how many years ago, we had a power cut on Christmas Eve, like through to Christmas Day.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, because it makes for like a perfect story. You get together with the family and the Scrooges and the stuff like that.
Yeah,
No, if the toilets don't flush, you do not get together with the family.
Oh no, the toilet's flush fine.
What do you mean toilets? What kind of toilet do you have?
Exactly, yours electric.
No, but y'all are city dwellers. I've never lived somewhere where the water works if the power goes out because you have
I
a
live,
water pump.
I live in a small village.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. This man is in the middle of the forests.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you don't have your own well. You
Oh,
must be on municipal water.
oh yeah, this is true.
Yeah, if you're not on municipal water, when there's no power, there's no water, and if there's no
But
water,
there's
there's
no
no
pump
toilets.
to pump it out, right?
What?
There would be no pump for it to
Right,
be
there's no
pumped out.
pump to get water into the house. So as soon as the power goes out, and like where we lived before, of course, was we had a hurricane at least once or twice every summer, and that would knock the power out for 3, 4, 5 days at a minimum. So when the hurricane was getting close, or even if it was a really bad thunderstorm, you fill up the bathtubs, you fill up giant Rubbermaid containers, you do everything you can, and you put them close to the toilets with buckets so that you can fill them up to flush them.
That is incredible. The last place I lived, we couldn't get internet access. Well, we could, but we had to get it via satellite because we were too far outside anywhere of actually getting. I mean, BT would sell it to us, and it ran about God knows what.
That would be a problem.
It was fine. It cost a bit extra, but it was not unresolvable. So
I'm so glad that Zoom added the ability to do emojis for stuff. That's so cool.
yes,
I've never used them. Wait, how do I do reactions?
we've got emojis here. Oh,
Yes.
see, our mom's sussed it. I'm too far from my computer. I need like one of those robot arms. Go, gadget arm.
Or at least a stick with something on the end of it.
I managed to do it. Did you see? I feel smart now. I feel really smart.
I know. Well, our mom's going through a whole range of emotions. That's cool. I will have to. After this finishes, I will play with that.
I'm looking at Koku's Rakusu now, and he's got like the proper length. And I'm so anxious to get my back panel to get my new Rakusu. That's not a bib.
Mine is actually a bit long. I have to kind of.
No, that's perfect.
Okay. And I've got our mom's Rakasu. It's just waiting on the ready to be sent once the backing arrives. So
That's awesome.
I know it's nice to think it's less than a month till Jukai.
Yeah, true.
Apparently, as my kids keep telling me, we've got a minor religious festival in between. So yeah. But there we go. I think Dokkan was going from Turkey, was going to drop it if he could, but I don't know if he'll be.
Oh, was he? That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard from Heiso as well. He had COVID, and now his wife and one of his daughters has COVID. So.
Everyone's got COVID here.
It's absolutely Omicron's just ripping through.
I don't know about no Omicrons. I just know about the COVID, and everyone's got it. Now, everyone that didn't get it is like now all my like online acquaintances. They're like positive today, positive. I'm like, oh, so much positivity everywhere. That's awesome.
There is a lot, yeah.
But I mean, the statistics are fantastic because it's like we're up, I don't know, 30 or 40% infection rate compared to last year, but everything else is down. Like people in the ER, the number is down. Like there's no stress. There's not even like plans for restrictions here. It's like we've got a whole bunch of infected people, but nothing's like, it's not a problem. Ah, there he is.
Exactly.
You made it.
Hi, Dokkan.
Welcome.
Hello.
Good to see you. Good
to see you too. Thank you.
And Yeah, we're just slightly over the hour, so I'll get started. Sekishi, am I on speaker or does it just not matter?
What do you mean?
Am I on like the big screen or we just have it all on gallery?
Just
I just
highlight
have
him.
that. Yeah, just gallery.
That's fine.
Well, actually, I don't know what because you are the one that's streaming now, whatever you see is what goes to YouTube.
Ah, so can I set it so that it's not that I want to big myself up, just that. No, I do.
Big is not a verb. I'm offended.
It says, okay, it is on speaker, but maybe it's because everyone else is louder than me. Not that I'm saying a bad thing, because I'm such a distant.
Well, what'll happen is if you have it on speaker, then whoever's mic is currently making sound is who will become big. So it'll switch between you and I, unless you
spotlight me.
Yeah, if you click on yourself, but you don't. I don't remember which. There's pin and there's spotlight. You want a spotlight.
Where am I?
So spotlight yourself, and then it'll stay on you.
Okay. Spotlight for everyone. Is that what works?
That's the one.
There we go. Okay. Wonderful. Anyway, right. Well, thank you all for coming. As I said before, some people arrived. I had my COVID booster on Friday, and I'm still feeling a bit rough. So I've just got the Ryaku on. I haven't felt up to putting the full robage on. But by way of consolation, here is a bright and shiny festive tree. So that's a good thing. So yes, this is our regular monthly full moon Ryaku Fusatsu ceremony for recommitting to the precepts and reflecting on our practice and conduct over the last month. Normally I read a little something before we start, and this month is no exception. And for this month, I decided to go back to basics, and this is these days in traditional Buddhism are called Upasatha days, which is days for taking the precepts. And this is where the Buddha first talked about them in the Upasatha Sutta. So this is where he's thought to have first talked about the precepts to his Sangha back in those times, 2,500 years ago. And the sutta starts, as all suttas do, with the Pali phrase, Ivam Sutam Ekam, which means thus I have heard, or thus have I heard, which we see in every Buddhist sutra. And in the Pali canon, we know that the person saying that is Ananda, who remembered all of the things that the Buddha said. And he's saying, thus have I heard, and then he is recounting with his perfect memory the words that the Buddha said. So, thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was residing in Jetavana, the monastery of Anathapindika, near Savatthi. At that time, the Blessed One, having called all the bhikkhus together, addressed them thus. Bhikkhus, and I'm sure you know bhikkhu means monk. The bhikkhus answered in assent, Lord, and the bhikkhus then prepared himself for the following teaching. The Blessed One then gave the following teaching on Upasatha. Bhikkhus, Upasatha is comprised of factors which the Aryan disciple observes, the observation of which brings glorious and radiant fruit and benefit. Bhikkhus, what is the Upasatha which, observed by the Aryan disciples, brings glorious and radiant fruit and benefit? Bhikkhus, disciples in this religion reflect thus. All arhants, for as long as life lasts, have given up the intentional taking of life. The club and sword have been laid down. They have shame of doing evil and are compassionate towards all beings. All of you have given up the intentional taking of life, have put down all weapons, are possessed of shame of doing evil, and are compassionate towards all beings. For all of this day and night, in this manner, you will be known as having followed the Arhants, and the Uposatha will have been observed by you. This is the first factor of the Uposatha. So here, he's setting out this Uposatha day, this day once a month, or sometimes it's twice a month, full moons and new moons, where lay members of the community as well as monks will follow the precepts. Bhikkhus, Aryan disciples in this religion, reflect thus: all Arhants, for as long as life lasts, have given up taking that which has not been given. They take only what is given, are intent on taking only what is given. They are not thieves, their behavior is spotless. All of you have given up the taking of what has not been given, are ones who do not take what is not given, are intent on taking only what is given, are not thieves. Your behavior is spotless. For all of this day and night in this manner, you will be known as having followed the Arhants, and the Uposatha will have been observed by you. This is the second factor of the Uposatha. Bhikkhus, disciples in this religion, reflect thus: all Arahants, for as long as life lasts, have given up. That is what an obstacle to the Brahma fearing. Their practice is like that of Brahma. They are far from sexual intercourse, which is a practice of lay people. All of you have given up that which is an obstacle to the Brahma fearing and behave like a Brahma. Your behavior is far from sexual intercourse. From all of this day and night, in this manner, you will be known as having followed the Arhants, and the Uposatha will have been observed by you. This is the third factor of the Uposatha. Bhikkhus, disciples in this religion, reflect thus: all Arhants, for as long as life lasts, have given up the telling of lies. They utter only the truth and are intent on the truth. Their speech is firm and is composed of reason. Their speech does not waver from that which is a mainstay for the world. All of you have given up the telling of lies. You speak only the truth, or an intent only on that which is true. Your speech is firm and with reason. Your speech does not waver from that which is a mainstay for the world. For all of this day and night in this manner, you will be known as having followed the Arhants, and the Uposatha will have been observed by you. This is the fourth factor of the Uposatha. Bhikkhus, disciples in this religion, reflect thus: all Arhants, for as long as life lasts, have given up the taking of liquors and intoxicants, of that which intoxicates, causing carelessness. They are far from intoxicants. All of you have given up the taking of liquors and intoxicants. You abstain from drink, which causes carelessness. For all of this day and night in this manner, you will be known as having followed the Arhants, and the Uposatha will have been observed by you. This is the fifth factor of the Uposatha. Thus the Blessed One spoke on the Uposatha. The bhikkhus were delighted and rejoiced at his words. I've just had something pop up on my screen, so I just need to remove it so I can see that screen again. There we go. now do 3 prostrations if you want to stand up for that. And before we continue with the ceremony, we'll just take time to have a few minutes of zazen. The first part of the ceremony is known as confession and atonement. But it's not a confession as we might think of in terms of some other religions in which we confess to a priest or other authority figure or even a deity. It's more of an inward confession or even acknowledgement of things we might have not be too happy with, things we've done in the last month in our practice and having broken precepts. And the atonement is, as it always is in Zen, it's recitation of the first atonement. And that again is just an acknowledgement that we have broken precepts, who's acted in ways that haven't been entirely skillful. And so we move forward in the next month, vowing to do better, knowing that probably we'll be here at the same place next month, atoning for what we've done wrong and vowing again. But this is how practice goes. As Jundu often says, is it fall down 7 times, get up 8. And that's what we do. We vow to be perfect beings, but we're realistic too. The great precepts of Gautama Buddha were kept by all Buddhas. They were transmitted from Buddha to Buddha, and they were received by ancestor after ancestor. Our great master, Gautama Buddha, transmitted the precepts to Master Mahakasyapa. Master Mahakasyapa transmitted the precepts to Master Ananda. And the transmission of precepts has continued in this way, passing from orthodox successor to orthodox successor in one line. Now we reaffirm our commitments to the precepts to return the profound benevolence of Gautama Buddha. We trust this to be the true reception of Gautama Buddha's wisdom and life. Respectfully following the approval of Gautama Buddha, we would like to devote ourselves to the precepts, beginning with atoning for past misdeeds. And here we recite the verse of atonement together 3 times. And you can, if you wish, we've taken to doing a full prostration after each recitation to give an extra kind of bodily part to this atonement. So if you wish, you can atone, you can prostrate or not. You can just bow and do a seated bow instead. So, hands in Gosho, we'll recite the verse of atonement 3 times. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. Continuing with the ceremony, we invoke the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and we do this to see them as symbols of pure conduct and upholding the precepts. So either symbolically or actually, depending on how you see it, and I think we know how Jundo would like us to see it, we give homage and invite the presence of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Homage to the 7 Buddhas of the past as symbols of our connection through time. Homage to Shakya Muni Buddha, a person of this earth. Homage to Miroku Buddha, symbol of hope for the future. Homage to Monju Bodhisattva, symbol of great wisdom. Homage to Fugan Bodhisattva, symbol of great activity. Homage to Kanzeon Bodhisattva, symbol of great compassion. Homage to the successive generations of ancestor bodhisattvas. And in consideration of their practice and the standard we wish to uphold, we all recite together the 4 bodhisattva vows as we normally do. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. This part of the ceremony everyone seems to enjoy, which is the symbolic water purification, which we either have, if we have a bowl of water with us, if you haven't remembered your bowl of water, it's fine just to mind this. And again, you can either have a piece of foliage with which to dip in the water and flick 3 times on your forehead as symbolic purification from your atonement, or else you can do it with your fingers. So just 3 times, either get your foliage or your fingers in your real or imaginary water and just purify yourself 3 times. And following this, we perform the actual recommittal to the precepts. And it doesn't matter if you've taken the precepts before or not to do this. And it's traditional to first recite from the Brahmajala Sutra, which is the East Asian source for the Mahayana precepts. So just sit with your hands in your lap at the moment. All you disciples of the Buddha, join your palms in reverence and listen wholeheartedly. And we have hands in Gasho. I would now like to articulate the preface to the great precepts of the Buddhas. If the members of the Sangha will quietly listen and they know that they have done wrong, they will atone. If they atone, then they will be at ease. If they do not repent, their wrongdoing will grow more grievous. Those who have done wrong are silent, and because of their silence, you should know that they are purified. Worthy monks, laymen, laywomen, others, listen well. In this age when the lifetime of the Buddha sometimes seems distant, you should revere the Pratimoksha. The Pratimoksha is none other than these precepts. When you observe these precepts, it is like darkness meeting with light. It is like someone poor attaining a treasure. It is like someone who is ill being healed. It is like a prisoner being released from his chains. It is like a traveler who is able to return home. You should know that these rules are the great teacher for this assembly of people, no different from the presence of the Buddha in the world here and now. At this time, thoughts of fear are difficult to produce. Unwholesome thoughts are difficult to give rise to. Therefore, a sutra says, do not trivialize minor misdeeds as if they are not problematic. Drops of water, although tiny, will gradually fill a large basin. A single instant of wrongdoing can lead you to fall into a hell of uninterrupted suffering. Once you lose your human body, you may not get another for 10,000 kalpas. Just as a galloping horse passes by swiftly, one's physical strength will not remain. The transience of human life goes beyond the mountains and seas. Even if something remains for the duration of one day, it would be quite difficult to hold onto it tomorrow. Members of the assembly should each energetically advance their own minds. Be careful not to be lazy, negligent, drowsy, or arbitrary. In the evening, you must gather your thoughts and focus them firmly on the three treasures. Don't take as being a waste of time the effort to deepen your repentance for those of later generations. Members of the assembly, each of you in your own mind should carefully rely on these precepts. Discipline yourselves in the practices that accord with the Buddha's teachings. And we now commit or recommit to the 16 Zen precepts, beginning with the 3 refuges. So we all recite together with hands in Gasho. respectful devotion to Buddha, respectful devotion to Dharma, respectful devotion to Sangha, devotion to Buddha, the Supreme One, devotion to Dharma, the supreme purity and teaching, devotion to Sangha, the supreme community, perfect devotion to Buddha, perfect devotion to Dharma, perfect devotion to Sangha. And we continue with the 3 pure precepts. Today I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life to avoid doing harm. To seek as I can in this body and life to live in a healthful and helping way, doing good. To seek as I can in this body and life to live for the benefit of all sentient beings. And now we move on to the 10 fundamental precepts. Today I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from the killing of life. To seek as I can in this body and life to live in generosity and refrain from taking that which is not given. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from misusing sexuality and all desire. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from false and malicious speech. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from intoxication in its many forms. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from unconstructively criticizing the faults of others. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from praising myself and judging others. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from stinginess in bestowing the Buddhist teachings and all precious things. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from all anger. To seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from disparaging the 3 treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to Buddha.
Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reaffirming our commitments to the precepts, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, to the all-pervading and everlasting 3 treasures, to all arhats and bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and their relations throughout the Dharma worlds, May our sincere vows to accomplish and live the enlightened way be realized together. Om Buddhas throughout space and time. Om Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Thank you all so much for joining with us today. It's a lovely thing. I've not actually looked to see what time this will be happening next month, but I think the date is going to be roughly the same as Jukai. So it could be moved one day before or after the full moon. We'll just have to see what happens. But in any case, if you celebrate anything at this time of year, I hope you have a lovely festive season. And if not, then just enjoy your midwinter or midsummer if you're in another in the southern hemisphere. But thank you so much for coming, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.